Self-congratulation will dominate COP-22 climate discussions in Marrakech, November 7th through 18th, as global elites work to implement the agreement they produced in Paris a year ago. Signatories remain heady, with the historic triumph of having secured national commitments to lower emissions of greenhouse gases. In Marrakech, they'll have to hide several problems with their handiwork. Unable to meet its own goals, for example, the accord will expose the endless escalation of mandated sacrifice central to top-down climate mitigation. Bjorn Lomborg, president of the Copenhagen Consensus Center and a prominent critic of the COP21 approach, said emission cuts promised for 2016 through 2030 amount to less than 1% of what's needed to keep global average temperature from exceeding pre-industrial levels by more than the 2 Celsius degree goal. While well-intentioned, this treaty is a hugely expensive way of achieving very little, declared Lomborg, who advocates increased investment in research. Painful costs are eroding political support for renewable energy in Europe. Members of the European Union and the UK are cutting subsidies and dispatch preferences for solar and wind. And less than a week before the start of the Marrakech Confab, Germany postponed implementation of its COP21 commitments amid controversy over economics. COP21 has legal problems, too. Commitments by U.S. President Barack Obama have especially shaky footing. Knowing Senate ratification was impossible, Obama signed an agreement he claimed not to be a treaty, much as it might resemble one. This week, 14 senators led by James Inhofe, Republican of Oklahoma, and fellow Republican John Barrasso of Wyoming offered clarification. Obama, they said in a letter to Secretary of State John Kerry, exercised limited authority known as sole executive agreement in accepting the Paris Accord. This form of acquiescence is one of the lowest forms of commitment the United States can make and still be considered a party to an agreement, they wrote, equating the legal force to that of presidential statements in a speech or press conference. In Marrakech, speeches and press conferences might be all that really happens. I'm Bob Tippie, editor of Oil and Gas Journal, and that's the editor's perspective, which appeared first in text at www.ogj.com on November 4th, 2016.